Hello and welcome. Thank you for joining us on Business Incorporated, coming to you live from Lagos, Nigeria. I'm Chimeze Obi Iwago. On the program today, President Muhammadu Buhari set to present the 2018 budget to the National Assembly. And Ghana misses its target to sell 3.6 billion cedis of non-sovereign bonds. Plus, Dubai state-owned port operator DP World announces plans to develop an economic zone in the breakaway Somali region. Let's get started now. We're beginning from here, Nigeria, as the President Muhammadu Buhari will today present the 2018 appropriation bill to a joint session of the National Assembly. According to the 2018-2020 medium-term expenditure framework and fiscal strategy paper sent to the National Assembly earlier, the federal government plans to spend about 8.6 trillion naira next year, a jump of about 15% from the 7.44 trillion naira budgeted for the current year. The 2018 budget proposal presentation is scheduled to hold at 2 p.m. And to the markets at intraday here at the Nigerian stock markets, the index was slightly in the red, 0.01%. The market in Egypt was also down 0.55%. However, the market in South Africa was looking green, 0.65%. Kenya closed down 0.86% on Monday. In the Middle East, most major Gulf stock markets dropped today because of continued jitters about Saudi Arabia's sweeping anti-corruption investigation, which could disrupt Saudi investment flows into the rest of the region. The Saudi stock index was down 2.08% at intraday. Shares linked to people detained in the investigation led falls. In Dubai, the index slipped to 1.79%, with Emma Properties dropping by that margin and Damac Properties tumbling 3.7%. Saudis have been significant investors in Dubai real estate, and this flow of money could conceivably shrink because of the crackdown. The index in Abu Dhabi, less exposed to Saudi money, inched up 0.1% in early trade, but dropped 0.35% at intraday. Most Saudi portfolio money had already left Qatar earlier this year because of Riyadh's diplomatic dispute with Doha, but the Qatari index was still caught up in the regional downtrend, dropping 1.05% as Qatar Navigation, the most heavily traded stock, sank 2%. And in Europe, stocks opened slightly higher in early trade as investors monitored a fresh batch of corporate earnings, while oil prices gave up some of their recent gains. For details, I'm being joined by Daniel Koop from Frankfurt. Good afternoon, Daniel. Thank you very much for joining us. It's good to see you again.
Hi there, Jimmy. Good to see you again as well.
Right. When we thought the earnings season was over, BMW and Credit Agricole are yet to report on the quarter. What's in the BMW results, and how much would Agricole's plans to buy Italy's Banca Leonardo be an earnings factor moving forward?
Yeah, not a good day today for BMW shareholders. The shares of BMW are actually the biggest losers here today at the blue chip index DAX. They were down just a few seconds ago by about 2%. Why is this happening? Investors were really expecting more. In general, when you talk about the numbers of BMW, the profit of the company has been dropping in the last quarter. Now of this year, BMW has been stating that they have been doing lots of investments regarding to e-mobility, and because of that they spent very much and a high amount of money on this, and that's why they are not having this high profit. Very good news, on the other hand, coming from Mercedes, the biggest competitor of BMW. Mercedes has reported that just in October they were able to sell 180,000 cars. That's a big amount, a new record there for Mercedes. On the other hand, we had the CEO of BMW stating that the profit before taxes was dropping by 1.8%. So in total, they were making 1.8 billion euros. Analysts were hoping for at least 1.95 billion euros. Because of this, we are seeing this dropping today here of the shares. And you just mentioned Agricole Bank, very interesting also here for the German market. What's going to happen with this bank if they're going to merge, because they are always in this discussion lately as well, if they would be interested in taking over Commerzbank, one of the biggest banks here in Germany. We remember that during the financial crisis, the German government was buying huge portion of Commerzbank in order to make sure that they would be still in business. Now the German government, that's what we are hearing at least, is not anymore interested in those huge portions. They are looking for a good candidate to buy those portions, and Agricole Bank could be one of them.
Right, still talking earnings, unlike BMW, Toyota, a leading Japanese automaker, today reported a 17% quarterly profit surge, just as the Nikkei-225 posted a record jump. Where is the positive sentiment for the Japanese markets coming from?
Yeah, what a rally at the Nikkei index in Tokyo. I was checking the chart a little bit earlier, and since June, this rally at the Nikkei started. Now we have this 25-year record there at the stock market. I was talking to investors about this. What's really behind this? They're telling me there are a couple of factors. On the one hand, we're getting strong economical data from the United States that's really giving the Asian markets a big boost. On the other hand, Asian investors really seem to be optimistic that the economy is going very well. That's why they are more risky and are investing their money in shares. And, you know, just talking about today's trading day, you mentioned Toyota. On the other hand, Japan Steel Works, a huge Japanese steel company, they also came out with their quarterly report today. That really made investors very happy. Shares of that company went up by 17.5%. We are also seeing a similar situation happening in Australia. Also, the index in Australia was closing with the highest level since 2008. Just to give you a quick idea here of the blue chip index DAX, you can see it in the background. We are not really in the plus today. It seems that the DAX has been a little bit struggling with this 13,500 point mark today.
And I just wonder what's upsetting the DAX there. Anyway, let's look at the data coming in today. The Eurozone's latest retail sales report, of course, shows a growth of 3.7% year on year in September. Now, are you joining the seasonal shopping spree expected in this quarter? And of course, what are you buying, Daniel?
What I'm buying? Well, that's a tricky question. At least my family, I guess, is not really watching today at television in Nigeria, so I'm going to tell you that in a second. Of course, right now, everybody here in Europe and Germany is waiting for this boost, hopefully to come with Christmas. You know, we remember that traditionally the Christmas market is one of the most important markets in the year. So we have seen those numbers already being very strong. But now everybody, of course, mostly in the electronic sector, you know, now with the iPhone X, for example, that's for sure going to be under lots of Christmas trees this year. I can also tell you that here in Germany, we have quite a big discussion about Christmas this year. Here in Germany, it's usually very common, you know, to celebrate Christmas on the 24th of December, not just in the United States where they celebrate it on the 25th. But 24th of December this year is a Sunday. And in Germany, we still have this tradition that most of the shops are actually closed on Sunday. So now there is this discussion also here with worker unions if, you know, the shops can open on Sunday or not. And about the Christmas presents, I don't know how many Christmas presents you have already bought. I do have to admit, because usually I'm this last-minute shopper that sometimes even goes to the store on December 24th. I went last weekend to get something, but I'm not going to tell you what I got.
Well, Daniel, I think you just have to include me in your shopping list this time around. And I'm not going to tell you what I have in plans for this Christmas. Thank you. So,
we can chat about it secretly later again.
sure. Right. Enjoy the rest of the day.